3-1.
Okay.
When you're anchored in the storms of life, when the clouds unfold in winds of strife, where the strong tides leave from the cable string, will your anchor drift or firmly remain? We have an anchor that keeps the soul stand fast and sure while the billows roll. Fastened to the rock which cannot move, grounded firm and deep in the Savior's love. It is safely moored till the storm withstand, word is well secured by the Savior's love. The cables fast from the heart to thine, undivided, blessed through strength divine. We have an anchor that keeps the soul steadfast and sure while the billows roll. Fastened to the rock which cannot move, grounded firm and deep in the Savior's love. Anchored firmly in the straits of fear, minutes left.
554.
Malawag ta nila. Wala lagi si Brother Brown.
Sa Brandon. Sige. Oh, let me walk with thee, my God, as in a walk in days of old. Bring down my trembling heart in thine, and feet the Lord, and fill me all. O thou that mount thy feet the sea, Jesus, let me walk with thee. Amen. Fear not to walk alone, the tempest rages in the sky. No thousands near beset my feet, a thousand woes are Lord. When on the raging of the sea, oh my Master, let me walk with thee.
If I may rest my hand in thine, I'll count thy joys of earth but lost. Bring to thee home, I'll bear the burden of the cross. To Zion's Lord, thy gates I see. It's your let me walk with thee. Kaning kuan. Last na ni, wala man si Brother Brown. Tawagan na nato si ate. 626. Magandang pupuan.
626.
Mag-worship na ta, wala si Brother Brown. Ha? 626, kanta. 626. 626. Let us sing a song that will cheer us by the way. In a little while we're going home. For the night will end in the everlasting day. In a little while we're going home. In a little while. In a little while, we shall cross the
stormy winds are past, in a little while we're going home. There's a rest beyond, there's a gift from everywhere. In a little while we're going home. All the tears shall fall in that city bright and fair. In a little while we're going home. In a little while, in a little while, we shall cross the billows foam. We shall meet at last when the stormy winds are past. In a little while we're going home.
Last?
Wala na. Kinsay mo basa sa Bible? Si ate kay magputol-putol ng gudiyang kuan internet. Oh, ikaw Mil basa sa kuan. Mo diretso na tag Monday kay nakakuan nam tag next Sunday. Baal Peor. Unsa na Baal Peor kato?
Larawan.
In Deuteronomy 4:3 and 4, the children of Israel are given a bit more of history lesson, a function as a reminder of the past of whatever spiritual and practical truths that they ideally should learn from it. Tanawa ang Numbers 25, 1 to 15. What happened and what is spiritual and practical truth should the people have taken from this fiasco?
Number, fiasco.
Fiasco gani? 25,
25.
1 to 15.
25, 1 to 15.
Mm.
Now Israel remained in Acacia Grove, and the people began to commit harlotry with the women of Moab. They invited the people to the sacrifices of their gods, and the people ate and bowed down to their gods. So Israel was joined to Baal Peor, and the anger of the Lord was aroused against Israel. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Take all the leaders of the people and hang the offenders before the Lord out in the sun, that the fierce anger of the Lord may turn away from Israel." So Moses said to the judges of Israel, "Every one of you kill his men who were joined to Baal of Peor." And indeed, one of the children of Israel came and presented to his brethren a Midianite woman in the sight of Moses and in the sight of all the congregation of the children of Israel, who were weeping at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. Now when Phinehas the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, saw it, he rose from among the congregation and took a javelin in his hand, and he went after the man of Israel into the tent and thrust both of them through the man of Israel and the woman through her body. So the plague was stopped among the children of Israel, and those who died in the plague were 24,000. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Phinehas the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, has turned back my wrath from the children of Israel, because he was zealous with my zeal among them, so that I did not consume the children of Israel in my zeal. Therefore say, behold, I give to him my covenant of peace, and it shall be to him and his descendants after him a covenant of an everlasting priesthood, because he was zealous for his God and made atonement for the children of Israel. Now the name of the Israelite who was killed with the Midianite woman was Zimri, the son of Selo, a leader of a father's house among Simeonites. And the name of the Midianite woman who was killed was Cosbi, the daughter of Zur. He was head of the people of a father's house in Midian.
However uncomfortable we are with the stories of Israel weeping out some of the pagan nations around them, this account certainly helps in explaining the logic behind the command. Israel was to be a witness, to be an example, to show what worship of God was like, of the true God was like. Instead, by adhering to the pagan gods, small g, around them, they often fell into outright rebellion against the very God, big G, whom they were to represent to the world. Though the phrase to commit harlotry often has a spiritual meaning in the Israel went after pagan gods, small g, and practices. See Hosea 4:12 to 14. 4:12.
Ito?
Hosea. Hosea 4:12 to 14.
4:12. My people ask counsel from their wooden idols, and their staff informs them, for the spirit of harlotry that caused them to astray, and they have played the harlot against their God. They offer sacrifices on the mountain tops and burn incense on the hills, under oaks, poplars, and terebinths, because their seed is good. Therefore, your daughters commit harlotry, and your brides commit adultery. I will not punish your daughters when they commit harlotry, nor your brides when they commit adultery. For the men themselves go apart with harlots and offer sacrifices with a ritual harlot. Therefore, people who do not understand will be trampled.
In this case, the language and the rest of the story suggest that there was sexual sinning at least at the first. Here again, Satan took advantage of fallen human nature, using the pagan women to seduce the men, who obviously allowed themselves to be seduced. No doubt, the act of physical harlotry degenerated into spiritual harlotry as well. The people involved eventually got caught up in the pagan worship practices in which Israel was joined to Baal of pure. Baal of pure. Kung sa Bisaya pa, Baal of pure. That is, they somehow became attached to the false god and when sacrificed to it, despite everything they had been taught and told. They were willing to throw it all away in the heat of passion and lust, L-U-S-T. How could this have happened? Easily, by hardening their consciences with the first sin, the physical one. They were ripe for falling into the latter one, the spiritual one, which must have been Satan's ultimate goal. They had become so debased that, according to the text, one man brought his Midianite woman, right into the camp itself, right before Moses and before the people who were weeping out the tabernacle. Our minds and bodies are intimately linked. What affects one affects the other. What can we learn from this story about how dangerous indulgence can be to us spiritually?
Right.
Babay na ta sa atong ko. Nag-YouTube ko. Bye-bye! Thank you for watching!